All right there, everyone. President Trump's State of the Union address is nothing short of a national Make America Great Again rally. That's what we'll be talking about. On today's video, if this is your first time with us, a very warm welcome to you. I post 2 videos a day analyzing current events in light of some really awesome conservative trends. So if you would, please smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel. All right, so President Trump is delivering his technically it's his second State of the Union address. He did address a joint session of Congress back in 2017, but as I understand it, technically that was not a State of the Union. Nevertheless, he is most certainly speaking before the nation this evening. Now, what I want to argue for you is that in many ways, what Trump has done over the last couple of years, you'll notice, is he's transformed his State of the Unions and his press conferences into what we might call national MAGA rallies, okay? And this is one of the things I think that makes Trump so incredibly unique as an American president as well as a world leader. We have to see the State of the Union and his press conferences if we want to really understand what Trump is trying to do here. We have to see the State of the Union and the press conferences the way President Trump sees them. As far as Trump is concerned, the State of the Union and his press conferences are a giant national MAGA rally, a Make America Great Again rally. Think about, for example, the press conferences. There's been more of them. Notice what time of day he holds press conferences, right? We're talking major press conferences now. They tend to start right around noon. And pray tell, who's on the radio broadcasting to hundreds upon hundreds of local radio stations around that exact time? Well, that would be one Rush Limbaugh. Rush comes on the radio to tens of millions of listeners. And it's not just Rush, but a whole host of right-wing talk radio hosts throughout the nation. And so by holding the press conference midday, Trump knows that it's simultaneously being broadcast live to tens of millions of people who are listening in to conservative talk radio programs with favorable and cheerleading commentary from the talk show hosts. The political effect of these press conferences is obvious. Right-wing opinion leaders across the country transform the live feed of the president's press conference into a mass national political rally. I mean, you've got to get that. The live coverage of Trump's press conference and his smackdown of these left-wing activists disguised as journalists, like crazy Jim Acosta. We like to call him Jim Acoster here. This live press conference transforms into a bona fide Trump rally. This is what so many in the press just don't seem to get. They're basically Trump's props that he uses to score points with his base. Michael Goodwin gets it. Michael Goodwin, writing for the New York Post, he sees the press conferences as nothing less than like televised revival meetings that remind Trump supporters why they elected him, right? That's Michael Goodwin. So it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing when it comes to the State of the Union addresses. Trump will use the opportunity to basically hold a massive national MAGA rally, using now the congressmen and the congresswomen as his props, both the ones who adore him, the Republicans, and those who hate him, the Democrats. Nancy Pelosi is just going to be sitting there behind him with her bizarre stare. And we'll be reminded why we voted for this man. Now, all MAGA rallies, all Trump rallies have 3 themes. You'll read a lot of commentary out there on what Trump should be talking about tonight at this State of the Union, but you can be sure, you can be absolutely sure that he's going to touch on 3 major themes that define his presidency, and that's nationalist themes, populist themes, and traditionalist themes. Now, if you're a regular to this channel, you know that those 3 themes not only define Trump's presidency, but indeed the resurgence of nationalist leaders throughout Europe, indeed the world. Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil, to Viktor Orban in Hungary, even to Shinzo Abe in Japan. These 3 themes are global precisely because they correspond to 3 grand insecurities that have risen as the result of the corrosive effects of globalization: border security, economic security, and cultural security. In other words, nation states that we all live in, at their minimum, promise precisely these 3 forms of security. The nation state promises to protect its citizens by protecting its borders. It promises to protect our economy and industry, and nation states promise to protect our cultures, customs, and traditions that characterize us as a unique people. Those are the three primary securities the nation state promises. But because of globalization and its propensity to negate borders through the flow of electronic money and mass immigration, its tendency to ship manufacturing jobs away from a nation to a country with cheaper labor, and its celebration narcissistic consumer-based lifestyle choices rather than traditional morality and customs, these three securities have eroded. And so this erosion has ignited a mass blowback, a political backlash that's going on all over the world. And that's once again asserting border security, economic security, and cultural security, nationalism, populism, and traditionalism as over and against these anti-national, anti-cultural processes of globalization. So these are the three themes to be listening for during Trump's speech. And if you're interested, I explore this in even more detail in my book, President Trump and Our Post-Secular Future, which I'll link below for you. So you're going to hear an emphasis on border security. We are definitely going to be hearing about the need for a wall. We're going to be hearing about the amount of drugs that pour through our porous borders, the violent criminal activity that's involved. We're going to be hearing things about economic security. You're going to hear about the creation of millions of new jobs, 3 to 4 million, the record GDP numbers that were just released, and you're going to see the Republicans go crazy on that one. Hello, MAGA rally, right? They'll be talking about the boom in energy production and the manufacturing and industry that now have 250,000 industrial jobs created and brought back home from being shipped off overseas in the previous administration. And you're going to hear issues of cultural security, about the importance of protecting our customs, culture, and traditions. We'll celebrate the values of patriotism and civic virtue and the love of nation and our nation's people. These are the themes of a MAGA rally, and these are the themes you're going to hear tonight at the National MAGA rally. These are the themes of the nationalist populist revolt going on all over the world, celebrated and revered within the whole of Congress by the 45th President of the United States. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Click on either our Patreon subscribe star or PayPal links below. Become a supporter of this channel and help us to continue to analyze current events in light of awesome conservative trends so that you can personally and professionally flourish. God bless.